I straight put it down and I'm repping the brown. And fuck all the haters that's running them out. They ain't about shit, they just love talking loud, cause they know I'm a hoodstar, they're chasing the clout. I brush it away and I stick to my route. I'm moving on up and fuck all of the doubts. A hoodstar, a G, and I'm repping it proud. A hoodstar, a G, and I'm repping it proud. Straight for the raza, so bump it out loud. I straight put it down and I'm repping the brown. And fuck all the haters that's running them out, cause they ain't about shit, they just love talking loud. They know I'm a hoodstar, they're chasing the clout. I brush it away and I stick to my route. I'm moving on up and fuck all of the doubts. A hoodstar, a G, and I'm repping it proud. Straight for the raza, so let it bump loud.
You are now watching M.O.D Entertainment, Hoodstars.
What up, G Life? Now right here we have Antioch, California. It's in Northern Cali. For those who don't know, you know, like by Oakland and all of that. This is the home of the rapper Woodie. You know, Woodie. Woodie was a norteño rapper who had a very, very good career within the Chicano rap industry. Now, I understand that he was white and all of that, but he was a norteño. He belonged to a norteño street gang right here. You know what I mean? Since the age of 14 is when he was running around with them and putting in work and all of that, you know, because he was incarcerated, you know, like I said, he was out there actually doing things. You know what I mean? Because, you know, this is obviously norteño territory over here, but there is sureños, and that's who they combat against. You know what I mean? So he was out there, you know, doing stuff. He became a rapper and started rapping. But not only rapping, the reason why he stands out and he's different is because he rapped, he produced, and all of that his own stuff. So, you know, he made the beats for himself. He wrote his own stuff. He put everything together. You know what I mean? He didn't have a producing team or none. It was him by himself. Which is good because it essentially made him an entrepreneur, because he in 1997 he started his own company called East Coco Records. You know what I mean? And he released several albums. You know what I mean? From Yoke Influence to Demons in My Sleep to Life Story Volume 1 all the way to Volume 6. You know what I mean? Then you had the northern albums. There was several of those. You had the Life Story. You had the Go Talk. You had Woodie and East Coco Records presents Northerners. You had a few of those albums. You had the Pistoleros album. You know, so he had several albums. You know what I mean? He had a lot of projects. He was a rapper that was well known, working with other artists like A-Wax, you know, Two Sides of the Game, another album that, you know, he was a part of. So he comes out and not only that, but he was featured in a bunch of other different songs. He got radio play. So he was doing things, you know what I mean? And like I said, even though he was white, his heart was brown and he was raised around nothing but raza, you know what I mean? Obviously being a northerner, you know, he rolled with the brown. So yes, he was a part of this culture and you know, this world and all of that. You know what I'm saying? He had a really good career, and like I said, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I was a fan of his music or I knew who he was and all of that, because I'm new to his music. But I do recognize talent when I hear it. You know what I mean? I'm not a hater. I call it only for what it is. I'm not here to do the bickering. Like I said, there's nothing down about insulting people on the internet, and there's nothing down about making up stories. You know what I mean? If a vato does his thing, then you gotta give him that, and that's it. I mean, you go on the internet and insult him all you want. It doesn't change the facts. That's why it's only good to only speak facts. Regardless if you don't like them, you know what I mean? You can't be also, just because you don't like something doesn't mean you could make up stuff or fabricate shit. You know what I mean? That's not how the world works. Especially if we're talking about keeping it real and being 100. You know what I mean? So he had talent, especially, I know, because it's really hard to produce and make your own beats and all of that. He created his own style, a fast-paced style, even though he implicates stuff from like Brother Lynch and Mr. Doctor and all that. He just used that as guidance to create his own style, because all of us that rap do that. And to create his own style, that now other people grab his style and use it as guidance to create their own style. Which is pretty dope, you know, but sad to say, his life was cut short, you know what I mean? He ended up passing away. But he did leave like a long list of albums that you guys could go check them out. A few right here on YouTube. You can get them on Amazon. I'm pretty sure his family gets the royalties. You know what I'm saying? Because he was really good, you know, without putting too much crema on it and all of that. Like I said, I'm only calling it for what it is. Woody definitely had talent, you know what I mean? A lot of good songs. Since I've been reacting to his music, I've been peeping out a lot of songs and a lot of albums of his, like Yoke Influence and Demons in My Sleep. Now, a lot of the songs do diss the suit and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But he does have music that doesn't, you know, like his later albums, you know, and then he does have some on here. So you guys could peep out his music, you know what I mean? He does have some out there that are bangers, that don't do no insulting and stuff like that, you know what I mean? When we're talking about just the sheer aspect of music, but anybody else is not gang related, I mean, you could go and pick up any of these albums. That's the only thing that I would advise people not to do in their music, is to insult your enemies, because then you're only hurting yourself, because then now you're cutting the public from being able to hear your music, you know what I mean? Not only those gang members from those exact hoods, but other people, because they're not gonna want to bump something that might get them into some kind of like altercation. That's why it's never good to do that, you know what I mean? Be subliminal about it, because when you're being direct, you know, people don't want to involve themselves in that. So technically you're only putting a hole in your own pockets by doing that. But he had, like I said, he had a lot of talent, a lot of skills, you know what I mean? Can't take nothing from this individual. He was really good, you know what I mean? Especially, you know, painting the road for people to create their own studios and to do things themselves instead of going to these companies that they really don't need. He was one of the first to do it, if not the first Chicano one to do it, you know what I mean? So I tip my hats off to that. He was very intelligent and ahead of his time, that's for sure. But yeah, Woody definitely did his thing. That's who he was, you know. Obviously, you know, norteño, from Northern Cali. Obviously his name Woody because his last name was Woods. So, you know, that's why his homies gave him the name Woody. You know, and that's who he was. So check out his music, and I do recommend, you know, Demons in My Sleep. A few other tracks, Demons in My Sleep. I also recommend, what was another one? I think it was Just a Dream. But he has several tracks that I'll be reacting to in a bit. But yeah, go scope him out, peep out his music, and you know, show some support even to the northern homies, because you know, it's all, like I said, it's all raza right here. It's all about brown. People talk about brown pride, you know, it's all about the raza. Well, then that's including them as well, yeah, I mean, because if you say you're all about the raza, then that includes them, you know. But I'm just saying, but yeah, that's who Woody was. What up, G-Light? Now, I chose this one right here by Woody to demonstrate his lyrical rhyming that he had. You know what I mean? When I talk about, you know, that he was very creative and different, you know, keep this in mind. He produced, made the beat, everything, you know what I mean? So that way people get a feel of what kind of lyrics he brings. You know, he'll say it right here in this one. I'm telling y'all, he was lyrical.
Ain't no bullshit. Yeah. Antioch cows up in this motherfucker. And I'ma let it be known. It don't matter what town you from. There's killers everywhere.
Ain't that the truth?
Wanna know them sucker what up? Run up, punk, or shut up. Cause I'ma put a slug in the lug and have you coughing blood up. Cause I'm fed up with these suckers talking threats behind my back. When you see me, you avoid me. Fuck, you said you gonna snap. I ain't no heavyweight, so demonstrate your plan to bust my grill. I guess you heard it through the grapevine that Norteño Woody kills. I ain't trying to knock your teeth out. I'm trying to blow your brains out with the trip. I say I'll leave you skull hollow and body laid out. It's a yacht like.
See, that right there, the wordplay, the lyrics, the grammar, the way he's able to juggle it at that speed, it's phenomenal, you know what I mean? He was very lyrical, ahead of his time, I'm telling you.
Like this ain't no point in me to find if I've been drunk over the virus, and I call it homicide. It's for my scrap, killing tendencies, ain't looking for no remedies. I'm thinking of ways to get more strength to execute my enemies. The APD won't see the end of me, so I gotta watch my step. I think that words are speaking cold, cause phone calls that will intercept when I'm hit. They're posting down the block with black with knocks, stacking out the smartest chickens out the scope is on my knot. I supply strategies of dissipating gunpowder. Hit that block with an asking trap and watch these hollow just about. Best we ever to walk. Where you
telling you, produced, conducted, everything. Him.
I'm calling your bluff, so before you issue threats, be prepared to back it up. Let's be able to walk while you talk. Don't hide, side, take a look and got you feeling bad. You gonna die. How you speak of my dad? I'm calling your bluff, so before you issue threats, be prepared to back it up. That evilness prevails, can't you tell? Follow them bloody trails that I left behind. You'll find my life is full of wicked tales. Dirty deep, fulfill my needs and tragedies to enemies, begging me for mercy. All they need before the chicken squeeze, peeping through the cuts. Man, they act like I'll be nuts. Got me juicy, getting looser than the pussy of a slut. I'll break you out, a fatal shot to show what I'm about. Don't underestimate, cause that's how wealthy fools get taken out. I trade myself with spreading suckers, guns across the block. A 22 will break his skull and rattle up his knot. Either way, he's gonna die by intense homicide. He can have 45 calibers, but only got one life. I know you killers kill me, that sickness got me pumped up and sucked up into better ways of dealing with what comes up. It's fucked up, but that's life, the life that dates the same right. I'm gonna live behind the trigger till I'm in my gravesite. So if you want me, come and give me suckers if you dare. Yeah, I shot your homies, and you know what, I don't fucking care. Fuck y'all and them haters too, you or die, I choose to do. North and side or right, and down your block, what is going through.
Congratulating making your own beat, producing as talented.
Let's be able to walk when you talk. Don't lie, side, take a lick and got you feeling bad. You gonna die. How you speak of my dad? I'm calling your bluff. So before you issue threats, be prepared to back it up. Let's be able to walk when you talk. Don't lie, side, take a lick and got you feeling bad. You gonna die.
Yeah, he's gonna hook it out. And that is Woody. You know, go peep him out. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure his family probably gets the royalties. Check out his albums. There's plenty of albums to look, you know, at. This album is a good album. You know what I mean? It has a few already. I have reacted, I think, to 2 of the rolas that are in this album already on this channel. You guys can peep those out. But yeah, though, he had talent, homie. He was first entrepreneur. You know, made his own beat, produced, conducted. Phenomenal, homie. You know what I mean? Very few can do that. Very few can say they made their own beat, they produced and wrote their own rap and rapped it and everything. Very few can say that. So he was ahead of his time, you know, real entrepreneur. I tip my hats off, you know what I mean? Even though he was white, you know, technically he was brown. You know, like I always said, as long as you stand with us, it don't matter, you know, from where you come from or what color your skin is, you know what I mean? If you support the raza, we support you back. That's just how we get down. But yeah, so go peep him out. Any rappers you guys want or whatever, leave it in the comments, you know what I mean? And I'll cover them and, you know, and shut it, we out.